Hello and welcome back to Nerddom. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be talking about the third episode in Agatha All Along. Now, I wasn't really going to do this weekly. I was actually just expecting to maybe just hang out, watch it, and then at the very end, give you guys my thoughts. But you know what? I decided we'll see how it goes week by week, and we'll see if we do a review every week. And just fair warning, this is going to be a full spoiler review. Not holding anything back. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back after you've seen it. Unless you don't mind spoilers, in which please stay, watch. So let's jump into it. I think that the episode was fairly good. I was entertained the whole time, and there was some parts where I thought that the editing kind of was all over the place. The continuity was all over the place. I don't know if that's just me paying attention. I don't know if that is noticeable by anybody else. I feel like characters kind of just like teleport around a little bit in the scene after they cut and we go to another scene. But otherwise, I think it was acted really well, and this is really the episode that kind of teaches us about each of the characters and their flaws and their backstories, that kind of thing. Now, each of these characters are going through something detrimental from their past. It is only with us, the audience, that sees these visions and the characters themselves. It isn't anybody else, but they all know that they went through something, and it's possible that it will be brought out to the surface later on in the series. At least that's what I would do. Especially Agatha's vision, which is pretty horrific if that is what really happened. At one point, the character Jennifer Kale pulls aside the teen when they're trying to work on the puzzle, and she tells the teen that she basically sacrificed her own child for power. Now, while that may be confirmed inside of Agatha's vision, we don't really know. We don't really know. But yeah, I thought the episode was pretty good, and it's kind of like our chance to see a little bit of the backstory with all the characters. And not only for us to see it, but also the characters to kind of have to deal with something in their past that is holding them back. This episode was basically a house of horrors mixed with an escape room mixed with a wine dinner. It's basically what it was, like a wine tasting. Why not? Why not? I love how they all turned into wine ladies, and it's all Mrs. Hart's fault. She was going through it this episode, huh? She was going through it. I mean, I think any of us would, honestly, if we thought we would just be underneath some houses. Then all of a sudden we're in this different dimension. I thought her character was getting kind of annoying, how she kind of kept stumbling and Mr. Magooing around. Like seriously, she's like the Mr. Magoo of this show. And like I said about a couple of continuity issues, there's a couple of points actually, where the characters are in a certain order and then the camera cuts and then we move the camera to a different angle and then are like magically in a different spot. One I can remember was Mrs. Hart was in the very back when they were stepping onto the first trial's land. And then all of a sudden she's like second place. And it's just a nitpicky, something to look at when you're editing, something to look at when you're shooting, actually. Something to pay attention to is continuity. Otherwise, I'm trying to think what other gripes I have. Of course, they did lay out a really big name in which Jennifer Kale brings up Mephisto. So it looks like the writers actually do know who Mephisto is, or they just said, "You need to say this name." Is that hinting at something larger later on? Is that absolutely nothing and just a throwaway line? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. We also get to see that the teen's sigil or teen's hex, not even a hex on him, it is with everybody. So it's not on Agatha, it's on the teen. So he is not able to say anything about his past. And I don't know how they kind of just throw it away as if like, oh, someone put this on you because they want us to not know who you are. And the whole time watching it, I'm all like, you mean the writers? The writers are the ones that put it on you. So that way there's a mystery of who this kid is. I don't know. It doesn't seem yet like a natural storytelling plot device to have on this kid. It feels very forced. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how. It doesn't seem like a natural storytelling device. It seems like we need to have a mystery box. This is going to be our mystery box. Who is this kid? He's giving a bunch of hints. He says his parents are probably asleep, stuff like that, when he's talking to the whole team. And this teen definitely knows a lot about witchcraft, almost like he's been studying. And he is after some type of power as well. But they keep saying that he's not a part of the coven. So how is he going to be granted powers if he's not part of the coven? You know, it's a bunch of question marks with the rules that I have. I'm not fully understanding the world of witches within Marvel as of yet. Apparently there's a couple rules that you can just break and be rewarded as well. At one point, Mrs. Hart travels off the road and she loses her bag. Her bag, my bag, no, my bag. And she almost loses, I guess, her life as well inside this muck. Luckily, they had the Witch of Protection, Alice, there to save her, I guess. But they all accost her and say that this is the rule. You must stay on the road. So they broke the rules, and then what happens? Trial number 1 appears, magically before them. So do you need to stay on the road, or do you break the rules because you're a witch? You just say, nah, I'm just gonna go wherever I want, and then you're rewarded for it. I don't know, I'm just asking questions, man. You tell me the answers. So that's the thing about the universe that they're trying to set up. They're trying to say, like, these are the rules, but then there aren't rules to follow. So it's kind of confusing the lore, confusing the world a little bit for me. The teen at one point even says, why is someone trying to hide me? Because the writers need a mystery box. Jesus. That's it. The writers need a mystery box. Otherwise, there's no mystery. Other than when we get into the house, Mrs. Hart is really the one that's pushing the narrative forward. She's just so over it, and she keeps, like I said, Mr. Magooing around, and it's really funny. And she had the exact same thought that I had, which was, it's nice paper when they look at the invitation on there. It's like really good cardstock. Double-sided. This is expensive. Oh, graphic design jokes. So after they break out the wine and start having a great time, they then start noticing again that they are being poisoned, slowly but surely, with a funny little prosthetic gag for each of their faces. So the potions, which Jennifer Kale again notices that they are being poisoned and that only one poison can be doing this, and she remembers sort of how to fix it with an antidote. So they then go on a quest to find the ingredients to make into a potion to then save their own lives. And on this quest, they then start seeing visions. So the poison not only messes with their face, it gives them hallucinations. And these hallucinations are different for each of them. So for Alice, it was actually her mom. It almost looked like she was backstage at one of her performances, and her mom is crying that she couldn't save her daughter. And if you remember, Alice's mom was lost to the road, I do believe. Lilia's vision, it looks like it has to do with something with her past. It looks like it has to do with the Catholic Church, possibly a priest or nun, and maybe a daughter of some type. There was a young girl who lured her into a different room, and then it looks like death is sitting behind a nun. With Jennifer Kale, and this one was actually intriguing to me because he almost looked like an 1800s mad scientist, almost like Frankenstein type deal. Very old school Halloween 1930s type of look, almost like Paul Bearer, from, if you know The Undertaker from wrestling. He looked like Paul Bearer. He ends up trying to drown Jennifer Kale in the potion that she was creating. And with Lilia, it looks like I said, death is after her. And then with Alice, she gets scared by her mother. So each of these characters we're kind of getting shown their backstories. We're kind of getting shown maybe who took their powers from them, or who is their biggest fear, that kind of thing. But then we get to finally Agatha's hallucination, which was down to the wire with the timer while they're making the potion, and it's a baby in a crib, and then she's crying, Really great acting job by Catherine Hahn. Really great acting job. And then when she unveils who the baby is, it's actually the Darkhold. So the story that Jennifer Kale brought up to the teen may be freaking true. She may have given up her only child for the Darkhold, for power. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. You know, this is really showing these characters that the road knows everything about them, and it's going to take them to their limits, as far as psychologically, of course. But then, like I said, this whole place kind of does seem like an escape room. It's kind of hilarious when they're done making the potion, which is one thing I did want to bring up. I think this moment between Kale and Agatha is kind of unearned. She does not like Agatha, and I don't know what she has to believe in her. Agatha has done nothing but try to escape out of the situation and cheat the situation. So I don't understand how now all of a sudden she's giving her a prep talk. It just seems unearned and out of place, to be honest. But anyways, the oven opens up. If you've ever done an escape room, sometimes they do have it where the room kind of opens up to a different area because you've solved the puzzle for a certain point. So is this going to be test number 2? Are they in it now? Do they even... They are outside of the house and they're back onto the road after a little fun slide in the river. But is it going to be like a different house on the side? And Agatha does say at one point, Jennifer Kale says,
"Now this is a house right off your vision board."
So are these houses kind of like everyone's dream homes kind of thing? That would be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool to see that. If each of these houses actually mean something to each of these characters, that'd be cool. Of course, a couple of identities were spoiled, so I'm going to talk to you really quick about them in 3, 2, 1. It looks like Pop Figures kind of revealed who the teen is, and it is Wiccan. It is Billy. So how is Wanda's son in this timeline? How is he this age? He did say something about when he was 13, something happened. So what age was he at in WandaVision, or is this a completely different Billy? Did he teleport to this dimension? Was he able to get here somehow? Is America Chavez involved? I don't know. I'm just talking questions, man. But yeah, at the very end, they do get out. It was a trial for not only all of them, but definitely for Jennifer Kale and her potion skills. And then they fly down this little fun water slide, and then Mrs. Hart's dead. And there's a funny line at the end where Agatha goes, "Who?" Because she keeps calling her the wrong name. So, I mean, the show is not the worst thing out so far. We're in episode 3, and I'm entertained. We're seeing the characters' backstories. We're seeing the characters interact and conflict with each other. The only part that I'm still not digging is the teen and his sigil. And now that everybody knows who it is, Agatha did mention that it could be someone, he could be someone important, or he could just be a nobody, that some witch put a sigil on him just to keep him quiet or something like that. I don't know. It found him under a rock. So maybe in this world, witches put hexes on, or witches put sigils on certain people just to keep them quiet, just because they don't want to listen to them anymore. So it's possible that this type of sigil can be used as, like, I don't know, it might not mean anything important really. That's what I mean. And he's kind of keeping it coy too, his identity and his parentage and his mom. He's kind of keeping that coy. You can see it a couple times where he goes like, what? And just gotta say, their outfits in the house were astounding. But yeah, not the worst thing I've seen, especially from Disney Marvel, especially from Disney. Like, if we're talking Secret Invasion, which is the reason why this channel exists, it's not that level, guys. It's not that level. It's actually pretty good so far. There's just some continuity stuff and a little bit of characters kind of brushing aside big things, especially with the teen, but we're kind of new to this world. It's possible that this stuff isn't that big of a deal. But yeah, man, I'm in for the next episode. Kind of weird, huh? It's kind of weird to hear me actually like stuff and to actually say that it's not that bad. Is it the best thing on TV? No. I think the production value here is good. It's actually filmed fairly well as well, but the scenes where they would kind of transitioned the room into a different horror show was actually kind of cool. It's not scary either. There's not really a lot pretty scary bunch. I mean, this might be the scariest thing that Marvel's produced, but it's not very scary. It's more fun than scary. But fun, and the characters are going through some changes. The characters are going through some conflict with each other and possibly developing, which is important for a Marvel show for a character to develop. That's basically it. Yeah, not the worst thing. As always, let me know your guys' thoughts on Agatha All Along, episode 3. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What didn't you like about it? Please let me know down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. And we're almost at the basically halfway point. So we're almost at the same point that the press has seen so far. And if you like what I do here, feel free to subscribe. Also, feel free to smash the like button. Really does help out the channel, and it's free to do. And until next time, take care everyone, and have a great day.